Hey, this is your friend Ferguson, and I'm in my birthplace of Chicago, Illinois. The last time I was here was in 2019 for my 50th birthday. That was a joyous occasion. I ran my fastest half marathon under 2 hours. I celebrated my 50th birthday. My son, he got to meet a lot of his family, but I'm here again for some family business. But today I want to talk about persevering over pain and how we can not only survive when we go through painful situations, but how we can often thrive. We are in the 8th month of 2020, and it has been and will be a year to remember. For some, it has been a year of tremendous growth as they have adjusted to their lives being changed by this new normal. For others, unfortunately, it has been a year of tremendous loss as they have watched jobs slip away, businesses crumble, and loved ones die. 2020 will be a year to remember. As I said, I'm filming from my birthplace in Chicago because it appears that my great aunt is about to unfortunately die. Last time I was here in 2019, it was for my 50th birthday, and I had a fabulous time. Now I am here to say bye to my great aunt who has lived a good life, and now she wants to go to the next. 2020 has been an interesting year. But the reality is life has its difficult seasons, whether it is 2020 or 2019. Life comes with challenges. We all have seasons where we experience painful circumstances. We all have times where we experience loss. Experiencing pain is a part of life. In fact, Jesus once said, "Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world." You see, experiencing pain is unavoidable. So in today's short message, we're going to talk about how to persevere when going through painful circumstances, how to get through tough times. In fact, by the end of this video, you will understand how to deal with pain by inviting God into your painful situations. Also, if you'd like to hear about future videos, please press subscribe. Now let's look at a few ways to deal with pain. First, we can persevere over pain by admitting our pain to God. One of my favorite Psalms says this. It talks about the psalmist actually taking his troubles to God and God answering. And Psalms 120 verse 1, it says, "I took my troubles to the Lord. I cried to him and he answered my prayer." Now, honestly, admitting pain is not as simple as we would assume. Why? Because painful circumstances are incredibly uncomfortable. Therefore, admitting our pain can be incredibly uncomfortable as well. We all want to be okay. We all want to answer that we are doing well when others ask us how we are doing. Also, the way we deal with the pain of others shows how uncomfortable we are with pain. Quite often, we intellectualize pain. For example, someone walks up to us and tells us that they are having a hard time getting over the loss of a loved one. How do we sometimes respond? We tell them, well, don't feel bad, in time you will be okay, or don't feel bad, be grateful that you had them for so long. Or we'll say, don't cry, he or she lived a full life. Or someone walks up to us who have experienced a bad breakup, and we respond by telling them, don't cry, you will find someone else, or there are other fish in the sea. Now, these are not malicious responses because the person saying them may be really trying to help. However, they are intellectual responses because they speak to the person's head and not their heart. Also, to avoid completely dealing with pain, we may spiritualize pain. Now, what do I mean by that? We tell people God will never give you more than you can bear, when the pain the person is feeling may feel incredibly unbearable to them. Or we say that the person who has died is in a better place, when the person who is grieving may want that person with them. Or we tell the person who is being honest about their pain that they shouldn't confess their pain because it will attract more pain. You see, these are all said in an effort to relieve the person's pain, or to relieve our own uncomfortable feelings with the other person's pain. However, the best way to deal with pain is to honestly admit our pain. As you can see, I have a lot of noise around me. I love being among this noise in Chicago, but I just wanted to talk about this particular subject because I'm dealing with a painful situation. My family's dealing with a painful situation, and honestly, one day you will be dealing with a painful situation. Why? Because it's life. So I really believe this message can help. Now, when Jesus walked the earth and experienced pain, he was incredibly honest and open about his pain. When Jesus lost a friend to death, he cried. It is recorded in the Gospel of John, chapter 11, verses 35. It says, "Then Jesus wept." Also, right before Jesus was about to face the cross, he admitted this challenge to his friends and God. Jesus said this. He told them, "My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." You see, in these passages, Jesus shows us an example of how to deal with painful situations. He was honest about his pain. Now, the second way we can persevere over pain is by asking God for wisdom. Asking God for wisdom. James, the brother of Jesus, once wrote this about trials and challenges and difficulties. He said, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow." In verse 4 he says, "So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." But here's the important verse. If you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. When I was growing up, for some reason, I picked up this idea that you could never question God. Like if you were going through a difficult circumstance, you could never ask God why. But then the more I began to read the scriptures for myself, I learned that there were biblical characters who questioned God. The biblical character Habakkuk asked, "How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen?" That's in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 2. The prophet Nehemiah, who was called the weeping prophet, also asked, "Why are the wicked so prosperous? Why are evil people so happy?" That's in Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 1. And Gideon in the book of Judges also asked God a question. He asked this, "If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us?" You see, this lets us know that we can ask God questions. And the most surprising questioner of them all is Jesus Christ, the Son of God himself. He asked, my God, why have you forsaken me?" You see, the Bible is incredibly honest about the struggles of humans. In fact, one of my favorite Psalms is Psalms 73. You see, the writer of this Psalm, he saw wicked people prospering around him, and although he was following God, he could not understand why God would allow them to have what he assumed was a peaceful life and for him to be struggling. So he asked this question: did I keep my heart pure for nothing? Did I keep myself innocent for no reason? I get nothing but trouble all day long. Every morning brings me pain. So I try to understand why the wicked prosper. But what a difficult task it is. Then I went into your sanctuary, O God. He invited God in and finally understood the destiny of the wicked. You see, what this teaches us is that God is not opposed to us asking questions. In fact, I believe questions can deepen our relationship with God. That is why he says in verse 17, then I went into your sanctuary, O God, and I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. Now, please know that I do not assume that these are the only ways to get through challenges that you're dealing with. These are just ways that I believe you can invite God into your challenges. So the third way we can persevere over pain is by asking God for comfort. Psalms 46 verse 1 says this: God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalms 34 verses 18 says this: the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. Psalms 147 verse 3 says, he heals the brokenhearted and bandages their wounds. You see, my friend, when we're going through challenges, if we ask God to give us strength, he will give us strength. And how can we ask him? By simply praying to him, by talking to him. In fact, one of my favorite verses tells us what we can do. In 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7, it says this: cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Cast literally means to throw every single problem and challenge we have on him. We could do that by praying on our knees. We can do that by journaling in a book. We can do that while we're in church with our hands up. It doesn't matter. All we have to do is ask. And because we're hurting, God will help. My friend, we can persevere over pain if we invite God into our pain. God bless you.